All right, so last but not least, of course, we have the fizz range changes, which will be again very fascinating stuff. So we'll check it out. Hey, based on what I saw in that job actions trailer, fizz range looking kind of crazy actually. So let's find out.
Along, it's time to take a look at our other ranged friends,
Yo!
Fizz Ranged. Right away, all three Fizz Ranged got a trait upgrade, which makes their party mitts, Tactician, Troubadour, Shield Samba, all mitigate 15% damage now instead of just 10%.
Oh, okay.
And, like the melees, second wind's
wind.
potency got increased. Let's start with Machinist, my favorite. So, Barrel Stabilizer got an awesome adjustment. It no longer gives you 50 heat gauge, but instead just gives you a buff which allows for a free usage of Hypercharge. This would be great for avoiding overcapping your gauge. On top of that, at level 100, Barrel Stabilizer also grants you Full Metal Machinist.
Oh, I thought it literally said Full Metal Alchemist. I was about to freak out. Yo, yo, I was really ready for him to be like Full Metal Alchemist. I literally saw Full Metal and then it cut into this. Yo, I was about to go nuts. Okay, wait. So let's just, I'm gonna replay it for a minute, but like let's talk about it real quick. Okay, so what's really cool is that Barrel Stabilizer, because you get free hypercharge and you don't cost gauge for it, you actually get, there's going to be a very strict sense of how you play this job, which is cool because you're going to have to go into the burst window with 100 gauge so you can literally triple hypercharge. Like you can triple hypercharge with Machinist. That's going to be nuts. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be like that the entire time. So
usage of hypercharge.
Yo,
this would be great for avoiding overcapping.
That's so insane.
On top of that, at level 100, Barrel Stabilizer also grants you Full Metal Machinist.
That's so
this buff
sick.
Allows you to execute Full Metal Field. It's probably the coolest looking action in the game, in my opinion, and that's coming from a very, very biased Dragoon main. It's awesome. Heat Blast has received an upgrade at level 68 actually, and becomes Blazing Shot.
Sick.
Different animation and more potency. Ricochet and Gauss Round have both received upgrades at level 92. They become Double Check and Checkmate. These are also just different animations with more potency. Chainsaw receives an upgrade at level 96. It will now grant you the ability to follow up with Excavator. This is basically just a second Chainsaw in that it gives 20 battery gauge, but it is now an AoE attack around your target. Boom. Finally,
okay, so Chainsaw's a line AoE. Okay, got it.
Level 94, Drill / Bioblaster, since their usages are connected, gain an additional charge.
Oh, they are
so you
connected.
Can have up to 2. I gotta say,
okay, because in the job action live or the trailer, you literally do Drill and Bioblaster. Like they do it individually. I didn't think about the idea that you had because originally I thought they were separated again, which would have been sick actually. But there's 2 charges. Okay, gotcha. I kind of wish that they put it because I kind of like Bioblaster as a move. I kind of wish they let me use Bioblaster and Drill and just take that the double charge thing. I get it though, but I kind of
attack around
I don't
your
know.
Target.
Kind of wanted to have the ability
at level
to use
94,
both.
Drill / Bioblaster, since their usages are connected, gain an additional charge, so you can have up to 2. I gotta say, it is becoming increasingly difficult every day to not just become a Machinist main. These insanely cool upgrades are definitely making that even more difficult. Next up, let's
he didn't
at level 96. It will now grant you the ability.
Let me hold on, because you got the 3 shots. You got Drill. This is got Anchor, and then Excavator is the move next to the Anchor.
Excavator.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Interesting. So you have 2 drills, Air Anchor, and Chainsaw, and Excavator. Okay. Wait. Hold on a second, because that is so insane. Actually, wait. If they're all still 600, that's going to be disgusting. Okay, Full Metal Field is 7. But you activate it with Barrel Stabilizer. Okay, interesting. So... Oh, that's so interesting. So... Because, hold on. I gotta think about the thing, actually. You do 1 drill, 2, 3. 1 drill, 2, 3. Anchor into what is it? Reassemble Wildfire Chainsaw, right? So you have 1 drill, 2, 3, Anchor, Chainsaw, Excavator, Drill, and you have Full Metal Machinist. And there's another drill. So they kind of limit, they actually kind of strictly limited the burst window in a sense. You actually don't. Interesting. So, because I'm assuming anchor, excavator, chainsaw, that's literally 60 gauge. You still only have 2 charges of reassemble, and there's still wildfire, and the timer is still 20 seconds for the drill. So like, you kind of sort of have to do a lot of things. I mean, I'm interesting actually because I feel like you have to. Because right now the rotation is you do 1 drill, 2, 3, anchor, reassemble wild charge chainsaw, battery, queen hypercharge, and you finish off the combo, and then you end it with a drill. But that drill doesn't fit in the second drill doesn't fit in the wild charge. I mean, it's very tight at the end at least, but it doesn't matter though. You're gonna have 2 drill charges regardless. So the idea here is that there's going to be 2 buttons that you have to press on top of what you already press now. Ooh, I don't actually know. So that's interesting. Because now the question is like, if air anchor and chainsaw and excavator still do more damage than the 3, you probably have to go back to the old style where you actually start with drill and then like 1, 2, 3, and then you just do you're definitely gonna have to do anchor, chainsaw, excavator, reassemble, wildfire, full metal fields, battery, or queen into hypercharge, and then finish it off with the other drill. I think that's how you're gonna do it. So you still got to use the 1, 2, 3 somehow. I wonder if that means that the burst window is gonna be delayed in comparison. I actually don't know. That's very fascinating actually.
Round have both
I don't know.
at level 94.
This is currently what my machinist looks like now. So button wise, we're gonna have to figure out a way to like have barrel stabilizer be something that we can actually like use and turn into actually no, not even. I would have to just literally. So I usually have, I mean, I was doing orthos, so or rather like palace, and I've been doing deep dinners recently. Anyways, so I usually have 2 queens. I have a queen under the reassemble and I have a queen under the chainsaw. So most likely I would end up putting, it's gonna depend how the rotation is. I either keep the queen here and I put the metal field here, but if I have to, knowing how this is gonna be, I'm gonna reassemble wildfire into the field. So I'm gonna end up moving that button, and I'll probably put barrel stabilizer like here, because you're gonna end up using stabilizer during your prep, and then you're gonna do reassemble wildfire into stabilizer, or rather full metal field. So I'm not gonna. That's gonna be kind of complicated actually. I don't know. Otherwise, again, it'll depend. If it'll depend, it'll really depend, because again, in that theory, right, if these 3 heated shots are all put under 1 button, if you can do that, then that'll be interesting, and that means that I can actually put like all the tools like here and then keep my singular combo here. So yeah, I don't know. I'm actually very intrigued by that. I mean, Machinist looks like it's going to be the flashiest job in the game compared to some others.
Machinist main,
But
these
Machinist
cool
looks
upgrades
sick.
are definitely making that even more
Yeah,
difficult.
I'm definitely
Next
gonna
up,
love Machinist.
let's see what's new with Bard. So
However, just miniature wish. Okay, I wish I had the sniper rifle from the PvP mode as a button I can press. But if not, I would like it as a job. Just letting you know. Just letting you know. That's all. All right. Bar time.
Biggest change, and this is one that I've wanted for a long time. Your songs can now be played without a target. However, you still need to be in combat, so no pre-pull.
Oh, you can't just pre-pull
But this will be great for managing your songs in longer encounters with multiple phases. Bloodletter receives an upgrade at level 92. It is changed to Heartbreak Shot, which is...
Oh, that's actually sick though, because Heartbreak is actually the old finisher button that you press as a machinist back in the day during Stormblood times? Yo, nostalgia's hitting me right now. So Heartbreak Shot is sick, actually.
Just a new animation and more potency. Your procs on your single target and...
Wait, can I get the animation for that again one more time?
Bloodletter receives an upgrade at level 92. It is changed to Heartbreak Shot, which is just a new animation and more potency. Your procs on your single target and AoE GCDs, Refulgent Arrow and Shadow Bite, have been combined into one buff instead of two different ones.
Hawk's Eye is the old dexterity buff button that you used to press. Oh my god! They're hitting me in my feelings right now. I might have to become a Bard main again.
So you can get a proc from using your single target GCD, then spend the proc on the AoE attack, or vice versa. At level 90...
Oh, they made it so freeform. That's amazing, actually. So right now, if you use Burst Arrow, it'll only let you use Refulgent. If you use Layden's Bite, you can only do Shadow Bite. So the fact that they actually let you kind of freeform it is fire. So that means that that flexibility is actually super nice.
26, Barrage grants a new buff called Resonant Arrow, which allows for the usage of Resonant Arrow, a big potency GCD which does AoE damage at your target. If you're curious, because it's a bit confusing, you still use your Barrage proc on Refulgent Arrow or Shadow Bite, but you'll be able to press Resonant Arrow afterwards, or before, I guess. Finally, at level 100, Radiant Finale receives a new follow-up action called Radiant Encore, which is a big AoE damage GCD with some fall-off that deals more...
It does more damage based off of the coda?
More damage the more coda you have. That's about it for the Bard changes. I'm a huge fan of the song adjustment, and Resonant Arrow looks super awesome too.
Yeah. Yo, Bard looking kind of crazy, dude. Okay, so here's the thing. Bard in Ultimates and even some fights in Savage Raids definitely was such a difficult and strict job to play, and they've made it actually so much more manageable, which is cool, simply because you play the song whenever. Like, you don't have to worry anymore about how that function is. And also, I think on top of that, it's not just like a thing that you do after level 90. I think it's like a permanent change across the board. So like, again, an easy example with this is like DSR on top. I mean, you can even throw T in the mix with it as well. Honestly, you can throw all the ultimates in there. There's moments where you have to use the button right before the boss gets killed so that the buff keeps on proccing its thing. And to me now, it seems like you don't even have to do that anymore. So like every fight that Bard may have been very like struggling with to a degree, at least in terms of that strictness, not damage potency, is going to be much better. But I think in turn that will also enable it to be able to do more damage also as well, which is fire actually. So I'm very intrigued by how they're going to incorporate this into future content as well as old content. So right now, at least with my Bard, the buttons, okay, so here's the main thing I'm curious about, because here's the thing. I have to go find a dummy to showcase this to you. So Pitch Perfect, this is a button that I've had since the beginning of time that I've had it. So it's not like a button that like right now, if you actually press like Wanderers, which is the song, I can't, right, because there's no target to hit it with. But if I were actually able to use the button on a target, then what's going to end up happening, right, is I'm actually going to, you're going to see it, the button will turn into Pitch Perfect, and I don't like that. I actually don't like that a lot. So I actually have it, Pitch Perfect is a separate button. However, they took this function out. If you overwrit the Pitch Perfect that you had from pre-Endwalker, you actually can't make the button separated anymore. It's not possible. So you literally have to you have to press the button off of Wanderers. And like for me personally, in my own personal mindset, right, in terms of how I like playing this game, I don't like the idea that I have my songs over here, but then I have my random Wanderers minuet over here. Like, I like that the buttons are all kind of close to each other, but if I was playing it in another scenario, it would literally look like this, and then, you know, Pitch Perfect wouldn't even be there. So I don't know how this is one of those few changes that they never actually like made, where you can kind of put the button back, if you will, as a bard. Because if I actually literally, if you go to the actions things here and you actually click on pitch perfect, it's not set on a hotbar. You can't. So the only reason why I've been able to actually play bard effectively well is because I don't have to press pitch perfect with my on the controller, right? I'm not using the D-pad, so I can still move around and still activate pitch perfect. Whereas here, I have to actually be very like weird with it, right? So that's definitely it'll be a massive change across the board for Bard. Bard is going to be doing incredible in future content and old content to come. I'm very curious to see how it'll play out. So, hey, I mean, Bard, like I said, Bard looking kind of crazy actually. The job also looks incredible. So, and Radiant Encore is that move looks
that deals more damage the more
literally satellite arrow laser beam attack.
I'm a
so
huge
sick,
fan of
actually.
the song adjustment, and Resonant Arrow looks super awesome too.
I'm definitely down to play
And
some,
last but not
Bard.
least, let's take a look at Dancer. So Flourish grants a new buff along with what was already given in the past.
Sorry, can I go back and look at that glam real quick?
Resonant Arrow looks super awesome
because
too.
And
last but not least,
glam
let's take
for male looks significantly different from female. Yo, that looks kind of fire. Because I knew they weren't gonna. Okay, if you go look at the male versus the female glam for the Dancer, it don't look like this at all for the men. So I was trying to figure out what they were gonna change, and the fact that they kept it like this is like nuts. So solid change.
Take a look at Dancer. So Flourish grants a new buff along with what was already given in the past. It's called Finishing Move Ready, which, you guessed it, lets you use Finishing Move. This is basically just standard finish, but it's instant, so no steps required. Executing Finishing Move or Standard Finish allows for a follow-up GCD called Last Dance, a high potency move with some AoE. Tech Step now grants Dance of the Dawn, which is a 50 Esprit gauge spender, which does huge AoE damage at your target. And that's really about it for new stuff on Dancer. Anything else that could have changed is probably just small things that I'm unfamiliar with because I don't really play this job too much.
Wait, I feel like to a degree there's probably something important to cover. Hold on a second. Let me okay, I play Dancer. I can tell you what's going on. I mean, for the most part, I'll try to though.
And
so I mean, okay, so the primary change that they made they made this change during Endwalker, where if you press Flourish, the buttons you got for pressing Flourish were actually different back then. They changed it because you could either use oh my gosh, I can't remember the button of the moves anymore. Hold on a second, I have to think about it now. You get to do Fountain Fall or Reverse Cascade, but Flourish back then didn't let you do that. So like the AoE buttons were not actually procced the same way that they were with Flourish. They actually changed it. So they put it so that now it does work either one. You have to activate the buttons in order to actually use the buttons back then. It didn't do that with Flourish back, at that moment. And then they made a change where now it can do either single target or AoE. Which is a nice, good quality of life, if you will, if anything. So if you use Flourish and it gives you Finishing Move Ready, standard step changes to Finishing Move while under the effective Finishing Move Ready. Okay. Wait, but it's not is it just... Sorry, what did he say? Is it just standard step though?
Let's take a look at...
Because if it's just standard step, it's interesting.
So Flourish grants a new buff along with what was already given in the past. It's called Finishing Move Ready, which...
No, okay, it's a new button.
You guessed it. Lets you use Finishing Move.
Okay, wait, so... Let me look at his hotbar while he's doing this, actually. Oh, yeah, look, standard step is down here. So... Talana's still there, and Starfall. Oh, it doesn't turn into standard finish anymore? Wait, what?
Given in the past, it's called Finishing Move Ready, which, you guessed it, lets you use Finishing Move.
Grant standard finish. Oh, wait, it does. Wait. Is it just an upgrade? I might be overthinking this. It might just be an upgrade.
This is basically just standard finish, but it's instant, so no steps required.
Oh, what? It doesn't cost steps? Oh, okay, under flourish. Okay. Sorry, I had to think about that one for a minute. Um, it doesn't do it while under flourish.
Standard finish allows for a follow-up GCD called Last Dance, a high-potency move with some AoE. Tech Step now grants Dance of the Dawn, which is a 50 Esprit gauge spender, which does huge AoE damage at your target. And
okay, so it's a stronger saber, if anything, because saber dance also costs 50 gauge, so it's literally saber. I mean, not literally saber 2, but it's a stronger, because you're still going to use saber, and Starfall, and Silana. So like the functionality of Dancer actually doesn't really change all that much by comparison. Actually, that's interesting. It's the job is the exact same. I combined job and same together and made Jame. It's almost the exact same job. The only difference is that you literally just take out a saber for a Dance of the Dawn, and but I feel like you'll be able to still fit a saber in there like appropriately because of the flourish. But job-wise functionality, it doesn't change at all. All they did was add a button, but that button replaces a button. So Dancer is literally the exact same job with more power in it. That's actually sick. I like that actually. So, I mean, I'm down. Okay, so
that's really about it for new stuff on Dancer.
Yeah, it seems like to me that Dancer really didn't, like I said, the job plays very perfectly. And again, like to this as well, like overall, I think my buttons are gonna be the exact same for Dancer. I'll tell you what, Dancer looking very. Here's the thing, Dancer probably doesn't seem like it's overwhelming in comparison to like Bard and Machinist, but what I can tell you is that Dancer is still going to be nuts in Dawntrail. So from what I'm kind of understanding right now, every job so far like is eating. I don't know any job in the game with Dawntrail coming out in mind that is going to be kind of like not lackluster, but you know, like every job looks incredible for Dawntrail. So I'm so excited to see how these changes come into play, especially when it comes to doing Dawntrail content. So I really appreciate that they're giving people the ability to still run old content and you have the animation and the buttons for old moves, but also a lot of jobs are actually getting a lot of new moves, which is again very intriguing actually. So a lot of content will change for sure over the course of time in comparison to what it is now and what it will be like going into Dawntrail. So I don't know, man. I'm looking really forward to once again cracking at every single job yet again. I love doing that. It's my favorite thing to do. So honestly, it's gonna be real fun. So I hope you guys are looking forward to all of the job changes coming to Dawntrail. So, and shout out again to Whoops for giving us the full-on fledged changes and the details. Appreciate you, buddy.